Hello my beautiful gorgeous babes out there, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in today. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing my first tag video, and this is the eyeshadow palette lover tag. So if you're interested in seeing the palettes I love, that I regret, the palette I have FOMO over and all that good stuff, then keep on watching. Alright lovelies, I am in full like fall gear here. I got my mustard tank on, I got my little grungy eye look, and my little terracotta lip going on. I'm just ready for like fall vibes here, okay? It is still a little warm here in Texas, but I am ready for some cool crisp air and pumpkins everywhere pretty much. But I don't know, wherever you guys are, it might already be cool and might full swing be in fall, but Texas hasn't got there yet, okay? Anyways, so the palette tag is originally created by, I think her name is pronounced Angelica Liramar. I hope I'm saying it right. But she was the original creator. I will link her video below. I will also link other YouTubers that I watched their tag video of this that also had inspired me to create this video. I'll put it all in the description so you guys can check that out, as well as link all the palettes that I end up mentioning in this video if they're still available. I think some of them are like limited edition palettes or ones that aren't sold anymore. But before I get into it, if you're new here and you like fashion, makeup, beauty, talking about palettes, then hit that subscribe button and join this little family we got going on. And don't forget me to hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I post a video, because YouTube just doesn't do it all the time. That's just the game we're in right now. But anyways, let's get into it. So the first question is a palette I regret that I didn't buy. I will put it up in the corner. This is from Kaleidos Cosmetics, the Deep Sea Luster palette. I have been lusting over that for just ever. Like, I can't believe I did not pick that up, and I almost bought it and I didn't, and they're no longer going to make it. They're no longer able to make it. I think something with the ingredients from the palette are like discontinued, so they're not able to bring that palette back, which is so unfortunate. There's this YouTuber that I watch, her name is Angelica Nikovis. I don't know how to say her last name, but she raved and raved about that palette, and I just have so much regret not picking that up. It's like the one that got away, for real. Anyway, so the next question is a palette I regret buying, and that is so easy. Like, I thought about this palette so quick, and this is the Venus XL2 palette from Lime Crime. I don't know why I picked this up, but when I got it, I did buy it when it was on sale, so luckily I didn't pay full price. But I was so attracted to these sagey shades in here, like these greens. I just thought were so beautiful, but the formula in here is so terrible. And the reason why is, look at that. Do you see it? The shimmers have hard pan so bad, and you won't get any payoff if you try to rub your finger in there. You have to like dig the shadow out and just kind of like smear it on your lids to get any kind of sparkly shimmer. And that's unfortunate, because when they weren't hard pan, they were so beautiful and sparkly, but the formula just like hardens up and just gets so hard in the pan that you just can't get anything out of it, and which is so unfortunate, because this is so pretty. Like, these shades in here just makes me so sad that it didn't work out. But I definitely regret picking this up. I don't think it was worth even the half off price, because it's that terrible. But for some reason I hold on to it, because I have, you know, attachment issues. Anyways, so the next one is a palette I haven't used as much as I thought, and that is the ABH Norbina collection. This is the Pro Pigment Palette Volume 2. I thought for sure that this was a palette that was going to be a staple for me, something I use all the time, and it's because of the color story. Like, I love green and blue eyeshadows. They have so many like beautiful green and blue mattes in here, and yet I think I might have used this palette once, which is crazy. Like, I have this big palette, they're not cheap, and yet I never think to reach for it. And I'm so surprised, because I do love like these limey green shades in here, and I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, why am I not using it? But then when like it comes to doing my makeup, I never think to grab this. So I'm just really shocked that I haven't used it as much as I thought I would. The next question is a palette I use more than I thought, and that is so easy. This is the Sugar Crystals Violet Voss palette, and I use this so much. This even was ranked #1 in a video I did on all the palettes I picked up so far. I will put that in the cards in the corner if you want to check that out. And I love this so much. I use this standalone palette to create like cute little colorful monochromatic looks. I will also pull this in with other palettes because especially these iridescent shades are here down here are like so beautiful. They make wonderful inner corner highlights. They even make really good face highlighters. And so a lot of times when I'm doing a look and I need like that perfect inner corner highlight, I will pull this guy out. Or if I just want to like get some of these mattes to add some color in here, or use, because these Metal Rose shimmers are also really pretty. So I've surprisingly used this palette many times, and I never thought that this would be a palette that I would just love so much and want to like use with so many looks. So the next question is my favorite half neutral, half colorful palette. And I thought about this for a while because I have a lot of half colorful, half neutral palettes in my collection. But this is the So Jaded ColourPop and Kathleen Lights collaboration. And I love this so much, and it has a good mix of color and neutral. It's like a lot of pops of color. They got some grungy shades in here. They got the jewel tones. And they do have, this has 2 pressed glitters, but I don't mind pressed glitters in my palettes. I definitely do use them sometimes and just use a glitter primer. I mean, they say it's not eye safe, but I'm comfortable using them. I just use it at my own discretion. But I think this palette is just really pretty. I actually took this on a trip with me to Europe, and I was gone for 2 weeks, and this was the only palette I had, and it covered everything I wanted to do, my neutral looks to my colorful looks, and I was really happy with this. So I think this is my favorite like mixed palette. The next question is a palette I bought for the packaging, and that I also thought about so quick, and it's this right here. This is the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon palette from ColourPop, and this thing has sold out so many times, but I bought it because I was a huge Sailor Moon fan when I was a kid. I had like the movies, I watched all the shows, I had a Sailor Moon doll. I was like trying to turn into Sailor Moon myself. And so when I saw that they were doing this and I saw the packaging, I picked it up so quick without even thinking about the color story, nothing. And then the inner part with like the little moons and saying, oh, it's not focusing, the little moon and saying Sailor Moon, I was sold. But I don't even use this palette. I think I used it one time because the actual color story in here is just so blah. Like there's no like I don't know, there's just no vibrancy in here. It's really pastel-y and like light, so I don't even like the actual palette shades in here, but I literally only bought it because it was Sailor Moon themed, for real. That's sad. I would never do that again. Anyway, so the next question is a palette that you like the shimmers more than the mattes, and that is this. This is from Stila. This is the Happy Hour eyeshadow palette, and here it is. I honestly don't hear anyone ever talk about this palette, and honestly I don't know if it's still available anymore, but I'm gonna show you. So I already swatched it on my hand from earlier, and these are the shimmers in here. They're so freaking sparkly. Like, I don't know if you guys can see the shimmer in them. They're a little bit more on the chunky side, a little flaky, but once you get on the eyes with like some glitter primer, they look so pretty, and it doesn't have a lot of fallout once you get it, you know, stuck to the eyelids, and they're so gorgeous. Like, I love super sparkly, super shimmery shades, so I definitely gravitate to this just for the shimmers. The mattes in here are terrible. They are super ashy and super sheer like formula, and they just literally, you could put that on and rub it in and they just dust away. Do you see that? Like, they're just so bad. So when I would try to put it on my eyes, they would literally just blend away. Like, there's no pigmentation to those shadows. They're freaking terrible. Like, those mattes, I wish, honestly, I would have been happy if this was just like this, just an all shimmer palette. I don't know what they were thinking when they made those mattes. But the next one is a palette that you like the mattes more than the shimmers. And that is this. I don't even know if this one's available anymore, but this is from Certified. This is the Affinity 2 palette. And this is so freaking pretty. It's like, look at these shades, greens and blues, and the mattes in here are so good, so stunning, so blendable, and that's hard to find, like some good blue mattes. So I definitely gravitate to this for just the mattes. Like I pull this in to create looks, and the shimmers in here aren't bad, but they're not anything special. They're just regular like metallic shimmers. So I use them sometimes, but I really only use the mattes in this palette. The next question is a palette that happily surprised you, and this might even surprise y'all, but this is from Nabla. This is from their Cutie palette collection, and this is the Platinum palette, and it's a neutral palette. It's a very cool toned leaning neutral palette. Like when you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, there's so many palettes that look like that, but it is the formula that makes this palette such a standout, stunning palette. I have to show you guys the shimmer, especially this one right here. This is Luxuriance. It is the most stunning, most beautiful silver metallic I own in my collection. Do you see that? Look at that. Well, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna swatch it right here. Like, it's swatched like liquid metal. This is so beautiful. I will never let this palette go for that silver shade alone. And then even the other shimmers in here are super pretty and sparkly. And then they have what they're called latex mattes. So they're like cream to powder mattes in here, and they're so pigmented and super blendable. So this little guy surprised me so much. Like, I am so blown away every time I look at this shimmer in this palette. So good. So if you like a cool toned but amped up, elevated, neutral palette that's just going to be like, wow, like people will see you across the room, that is it right there. All right, so let's see, what is that? We are on the last question, and it's the palette with the most interesting color story. And this is probably like been mentioned by so many YouTubers who did this video, but this is the Muerte palette. I said that probably terribly, but this does, it's like, has the most interesting color story. Like, nothing can beat how innovative and interesting this color story is. And it's not that they just threw a bunch of shadows together that you're like, oh, I never would have threw that together. It's like they make sense. It makes you want to try different color combinations, and it inspires me. When I look at this, I want to create these things I would never think to create looking at another palette, because the color story, like these dark vampy mattes are so gorgeous, and even the shimmers are super nice in here. And I can just stare at this palette all day long and just be like, ooh, I want to create this, I want to create that. I'm so inspired every time I look at this palette. But this is definitely one of the most interesting color stories that I have ever seen. That was the end of this palette tag. That was all the questions. Let me know in the comments below, were you surprised by the palettes I picked, or did you agree with me, or which ones would you put for those questions? I love hearing from all of y'all, and just give me a thumbs up. This lets me know if you enjoy these kind of videos, or like doing tag videos, or just talking about palettes. I would love to know. So give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Also, I will have everything linked in the description. All the palettes that are still available, I have that below. I have the questions below. The inspiration videos for this will be in the description, as well as my Instagram. So if you want to join me over there as well, I'll put the handle up here on the screen so you guys can join my Instagram fam as well. And if you are new here, like I mentioned before, and you like fashion, makeup, beauty, I mean, you made it this far, you might as well hit that subscribe button and join this little family we got going on. I would love to have you guys along for this ride that we are on. And I can't think of anything. Did I miss anything? No, I think that was it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. But until next time, bye.